What's up, friends and family? My name is Will, and welcome to week 7. Today, I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. Now, I know 2 weeks ago, as part of my new weekly schedule of videos, I also had content in addition to talking about my own assessment, feelings, thoughts, after being, I think it was about a month plus a week, or maybe just a month in at that point. And then last week that kind of fell off, and I ended up just talking about my own assessment, which in my opinion was perfectly needed. It was a stressful week, and frankly a lot happened, even though maybe the video didn't necessarily express that a lot happened at parts. But today I wanted to kind of go back to what I had originally planned and start covering a little bit of content. So today I'm going to talk about vending machines. And no, I don't mean American vending machines that we are probably so accustomed to seeing. Instead, as per where I am, I'm going to talk about Japanese vending machines. And for those of you who are not as familiar with Japan and kind of what has brought some of its fame and fortune over the years, vending machines are a very, very popular part of Japan. In fact, it's rumored that there are roughly 4 million vending machines in Japan, and 2 million of those are just for drinks. See, in the States, we have, I think, it's rumored to be about 7 million, keeping in mind America is significantly larger of a country compared to Japan, as well as its population is significantly higher as well. So for those numbers, because of the astronomical amount of vending machines in Japan compared to its population, it's said statistically that there's about 1 vending machine here in Japan for every 23 people. And of course, that's taking the total 4 million number of vending machines rather than the 2 million for the drinks. But in America, the population is significantly higher, and we're significantly more spread out, that whatever the statistic comparison there for vending machines to people, it just would not seem accurate. Now, if you're in a big city like New York, maybe you see more vending machines, but maybe in the small countryside, you might only know of a couple. So what makes Japanese vending machines different from the US comparison? Well, it's not just the number of them that sets them apart, though of course that really helps. See, it's pretty hard to turn any corner in Japan, especially in big cities like Tokyo, Sendai, Osaka, Sapporo. I could go on and not see a vending machine. But even in small towns, vending machines are quite prevalent. Of course, there are very, very small rural remote villages out there that probably don't have one, but I can't really comment too much on those myself. And as far as the places that I have personally been, I don't know if I've ever been somewhere that hasn't had a vending machine without walking a little ways. Like, there's always a vending machine somewhere. But these vending machines, they go beyond just this sheer number. In fact, vending machines are significantly better, in my opinion, all around here in Japan compared to the States. And that's mostly because of their cleanliness and care given to them. See, vending machines are seen like a store, and thus the people that restock the vending machines kind of see it as their storefront. Now, most of them are owned by big corporations like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, or distributors here locally in Japan, but these distributors carry a different mindset in Japan and try to make them look nice, presentable, clean, very well stocked all the time, simply because they're seen as an additional storefront away from the actual stores. Thus, they need to be presentable and clean. They are so much more to the people that are restocking and caring for them. In addition to all of this, vending machines are seen almost as a necessity here in Japan, because the reality is most Japanese apartments are quite small, especially when you get into big cities. And because of that, storage space is quite limited. While in America, you can easily run to the store and buy a 12-pack of Coke or Pepsi and probably have space for it in your fridge, if not somewhere in garage or pantry somewhere. In Japan, space is not that easy to come by. So even when you go to a big grocery store, it's very rare for you to be able to find 12 packs or big packages of drinks. See, vending machines are seen as this necessity because they are open 24/7, but because of this lack of space, it's very easy for someone to just run out to a vending machine on the nearby block or corner, buy what drinks they want for the evening, bring them home, and not worry about trying to store a 12-pack or more in their limited amount of space. This is something I actually even do myself. See, I've taken a little record of the vending machines in my area, so in case I get thirsty, I can easily take a short walk to one of them and get whichever drink I want. Now, of course, each vending machine does have different things, and there are times where you'll see a couple vending machines pushed together, thus increasing your options there. But there's so many drink options that it's nice to have all these different vending machines around. So it's like, well, I really want that drink from that vending machine, but nearby it is this other vending machine that has the same stock as this vending machine closer to me. I can just run to those two over there, get the drink that I really want, but also these other drinks without making multiple stops around my area. So the nicety of having all these machines kind of nearby and kind of having a record of what is in them and where they're at helps me to streamline the process of late night drink runs, or just grabbing the perfect drink that I want at that moment without worrying about the set 15-minute walk to the store. I can walk 5 minutes and get it from a vending machine instead. In fact, that's exactly where I was just coming back from. I have a small haul of drinks from vending machines, but I specifically went for a set of drinks, let's call it, because here in Japan, we have options too. Like in America, you'll see all the different Mountain Dew or Monster flavors and such. The same thing can be said about here in Japan, but kind of from a different angle. Okay, I empty my bag, put it away, kind of have my drinks laid out right here in front of me. So when I'm talking about differences of flavor for drinks, I'm not so talking about how Monster has the whole slew of different options for different flavors. Of course, you do find that in Japan. Japan is well known for their odd flavor selection for some things, and Monster is one of those things here in Japan that has a whole bunch of flavors that are available, assuming you go to the right place. But again, that's not exactly the vein that I'm running with. Instead, I'm going to talk about Pepsi. So you do have Pepsi and Coke here in Japan, and I believe you also will find the cherry Pepsis and cherry Cokes sometimes, but those are very rare. And in fact, I feel like I've seen them more in import stores, more so than actual Japanese stores. So there's other flavors of things that you would probably go to first if you're looking for alternate options. Especially in soda, you'd probably be going to like a Mountain Dew or a Fanta, especially first, before you try to find alternate flavors of Pepsi. But that doesn't mean you don't have options for Pepsi. I mean, literally right here, I have two different Pepsis. And yeah, it's like, okay, that's a traditional bottle and this is a traditional can. I also have a can version of this, People say that things often taste different in cans versus bottles, and this is the one that I really like and have become a fan of. This is, I think, like an energy drink version of Pepsi. And I actually want to address one of my favorite drinks here in Japan that seems to only be available in select vending machines, and that is this, which you can probably see from the picture here. It is strawberry milk. Now, you can find strawberry milk in the States, but it tastes so much better here in Japan, in my opinion. That's probably because they heap loads of sugar into it, but this one is special because I think it actually has a little bit of carbonation in it, which kind of seems nasty. A Nestle Quick strawberry milk from like the store, that's like the closest thing I can think of an equivalency to America. But this one in particular is even different from the ones here in Japan. But this has become one of my favorite ones, and I've only found it in a couple vending machines, and that's because I think it is only found in vending machines because of the company that makes this. Dido, I believe is the brand. There's a couple vending machines under that name around here, but I actually only know of 2 that carry this drink. It's almost like you take the strawberry milks from back home and almost sweeten them up a little bit, but not in like an overpowering, like sugary way, almost in a more natural way. So that's kind of the description of my favorite drink that, as I said earlier, is only available in vending machine. Okay, so moving away from the specifics of the drinks offered in vending machines, I kind of want to talk about the alternate kinds of vending machines you can find in Japan, because this is one of the last kind of things that I'm aware of that has really made Japanese vending machines quite famous around the world. See, while in the States, you very, very likely are going to find food vending machines and drink vending machines, mostly for the big name products like Pepsi or Coke. Maybe in big cities like New York or Chicago, you'd find some novelty vending machines that have weird things like ice cream or pizza or burritos. But really, unless you're in one of those big cities, you're more likely than not only going to find drink and some snack vending machines, nothing super fancy. But in Japan, you're more likely to find kind of a one-off vending machine because people love to experiment, and vending machines are one of those things that people love. People in Japan love taking normal things that are often prevalent in their lives and remixing them a little bit to make them more interesting. Japan has a huge store. I believe it's down near Osaka or Kyoto. Somewhere around there is a sake vending machine. And it's not just one, it's a whole store full of them. They have a whole wall full of these vending machines just for sake. It looks a little bit more like a soft serve ice cream parlor, but there's like all these machines stacked on top of each other just with sake in them. But outside of just that vein, because that's still kind of drinks, it's not all that uncommon to find alcohol vending machines here in Japan, or vending machines for some clothes, or ice cream is super popular. Those are often harder to find than the drink ones, but normally every town has a couple. But those are often more so located in buildings than outside, like on the streets and stuff. I have seen them out and about before, but normally when you are out on the street, you're more likely than not just going to find the drinks. And if you go inside a building specifically looking for it, you might find these alternate kinds of vending machines. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of wrap up there. It's starting to get real hot. Making these videos, I can't have fans on or else the sound kind of overlaps, and making cuts and edits, the sound of the wind blowing around is just impossible to work with in the editing process. So I'm gonna kind of start wrapping up here, but that kind of transitions me into my last week. This past week hasn't necessarily had a whole ton of new things happening to talk about. Yeah, there's been some highs and some lows. It's been pretty good all around. I felt very, very tired in general. My job is in full swing now. I'm very, very far along in my training. I think I really only have a little while left. Feeling very comfortable with my classes. On top of that, I have a lot of curriculum I need to start memorizing. My training's wrapping up, so I need to start thinking about how to make lessons plans and what works best with my students and figuring out my own teaching style. It's just a lot of stuff going on now, and as I've gotten used to my schedule, I've also started to get more and more tired. I'm very much excited to go into work each day. That is a huge positive. I'm excited to see the kids and to teach them. But other than that, it's not necessarily a whole ton to report. I don't think I've really bought anything new or changed anything up this week, trying to kind of cut back on that spending. But otherwise, it's been a decently positive week all around. Not too much to report. Been really enjoying everything and settling in pretty well. Definitely feel kind of at home in my space as of this point, which already is a huge thing, seeing as for the last several weeks it's taken me so long to get used to even just my own living space, but now it feels like mine. So that kind of wraps up that talk. I don't really have a whole bunch to report, kind of why I really wanted to get into additional content today, but I'll wrap it up there. Thank y'all for watching. If you are friends and family, I welcome you in the intro. Thank you for continuing to support me and watching these videos and kind of seeing my life over here. I don't know if it's really interesting or maybe it's boring for people who aren't in my shoes. Maybe it's just nice for people to see what I'm up to. Maybe it's not really a popular thing, but at the end of the day, kind of making it for my own sanity. But at the same point, if you are not friends or family and you are here not knowing who I am or anything about me and just kind of interested in seeing what my life is like over here, in case you do something like this or you know people doing something like this, you just kind of want a glimpse into what the life is like of moving across the world without knowing anybody, going to a new job with new people and new language and everything. I think obviously everyone has their own experiences, but a lot of the things that I do express are probably shared across the board. Though of course I know different times in life, different personalities, different things make people have different experiences, but I want to reach out a wholehearted thanks if you do not know me, or if you do, for watching this far, for supporting me in any such way. If it's just watching this video or if it is leaving a like or a comment, I just want to reach out a very big thanks. And it's great to have y'all here, and I'll see you guys next week.